The Democratic Republic of Congo has seen a surge of violence in recent weeks. Attacks by militants and inter-community conflict has forced millions of people to flee their homes. The UN says that ongoing fighting is making it extremely difficult to reach many people in areas. Now, our reporter Mariel Müller traveled to Ituri, one of the two provinces in the northeast of the country, officially under a state of siege. She met many people taking refuge there.
Hardly any other region has suffered atrocities by militias as badly as Congo's Ituri province. We are on the road with a Norwegian aid organization. Over a distance of just 60 kilometers, we pass through about 20 checkpoints controlled by various rebel groups as well as the Congolese army. A militia checkpoint. It's mostly boys carrying guns. Their weapons are concealed, but the threat is real. They ask for money, but a few words persuade them to let us pass today. We reach the camp for internally displaced people in Drodro. It's one of many in the DRC. About 5.5 million of the country's estimated 105 million people are displaced, more than anywhere else in Africa. Logodjoro barely managed to escape her village when a militia attacked it. She was on the run with her children when she realized her daughter was missing. I decided to go back to find and save her. I was convinced she was still alive. But unfortunately, she was already dead. I was so sad, just devastated. When I walked past them, they shot at me. I had no idea if I'd survive. I gradually lost all my strength. I was having difficulty breathing. Then I slipped into some bush. I lost all hope. I was sure I was going to die. She survived, but found her 4-year-old daughter murdered. As soon as she was released from hospital, she gathered her 5 other children and fled to this camp. Food, water, and medical care are in short supply, but at least they are safe here, she says.
And that was our correspondent Mariel Müller reporting from Ituri. You can find more of her coverage on the website dw.com. In the meantime, now I am joined by Jackie Keegan. She is the head of the UNHCR's sub-office in Goma and monitors the situation in North Kivu and in Ituri. Thank you so much for joining us here on DW News. As we've been hearing in that reporting, the Democratic Republic of Congo has the highest number of displaced people in Africa. One recent estimate said that more than 120 armed groups are fighting in its 4 eastern provinces. What are driving these conflicts?
There are actually a number of conflicts in eastern DRC, which have different causes, but which are fed by a number of the same problems. So the area suffers from a combination of weak land and mineral resource regulation, the presence of many thousands of light weapons and cheap ammunition, weak police and justice sectors, the isolation caused by poor roads and fragile communications. The Special Envoy from the Great Lakes has spoken about the impact of regional interest in the DRC and the presence of foreign armed actors. Ultimately, without a global commitment to establishing the rule of law, to reducing impunity, and to building an economy that serves local residents, conflict will remain a problem in the East for many years to come.
It's challenging, as we have seen, to reach those who are in need amid these conflicts. Tell us, how do you do it at the UN? How do you reach these people?
Many displaced people, most, find support from their neighbors, people like themselves who take them in when they have to run from violence. The UNHCR and others are working more and more closely with local authorities and communities in advance of flights during moments of calm to strengthen their capacity to respond to needs as they arise. They're the first responders and we need to help them. The idea is to help communities to design and implement programming that responds best to local needs. and prepares them to better accommodate people. So that might mean building additional shelter, building wells that people might be able to use so that they can avoid going too far to put themselves at risk of rape, for example, just in the search of water. But when there is massive displacement, the international community does need to help directly. And so we negotiate access with whomever is in control, and we plan very carefully so that we're able to get in and distribute what we need to distribute. Ultimately, too much falls on the shoulders of locals, however.
What needs to be done to break the cycle of violence from what you have seen there locally?
Security remains the responsibility of the state. And ultimately, it will be important for civilian authorities, including police and justice systems, to function for the good of everybody in a predictable way. Establishing and maintaining regulation of land management, mining management, agricultural sectors, the raising of cattle and the sale of cattle, the support and the distribution of national ID cards can have a massive impact on daily life, on direct protection and security risks, and can at the same time reduce conflict drivers, while giving perhaps a bit of space for a development perspective and maybe economic opportunities that go beyond the immediate. A new government is arriving today in North Kivu and in Ituri. The president indicated that it was his priority to address the violence and so declared this state of siege in North Kivu and Ituri, as you said. And it's hoped that the military will be part of the solution, and that indeed part of their plan will be to be accompanied by and to support the establishment of strong civilian institutions in areas where military operations are undertaken, so that people are able to rebuild trust in local and national services, and in the possibility that their civilian leaders will be able to support their safety and stability. This is going to take a while, but ultimately we need all different parts of the Congolese government and its supporters to work together.
Jackie Keegan of the UNHCR in Goma in the DRC. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.